this truck. Watch what happens.
So today we're talking about the adaptive cruise control on the Golf GTD, or ACC. The ACC panel is located here, and I'm going to show you how all of the buttons work, and then we'll take the car out on a real life test situation and go through motorway drive and see how it performs. The adaptive cruise control is fantastic on the GTD. It was standard. Not a lot of cars come with adaptive cruise control as standard. A lot of cars come with cruise control but not adaptive, and that radar on the front of this car is an absolute beauty. So let's have a look at the controls. On the ACC panel on the left hand side of the steering wheel here, you can turn it on and off using this button here. You set the speed here, and if it's deactivated by pressing the brake, or you've turned it off or something happens, you can resume your speed to where you were before. In the middle is a great little feature whereby you can set the distance between you and the car in front, and this little rocker switch here will plus and minus your speed by 5 miles an hour in 5 mile an hour increments. The set and the resume button when you're out on the road will increase by pressing this one by 1 mile an hour, and will decrease by pressing the set by 1 mile an hour as well. Right, so let's press some of these buttons and see what it does while the car is stationary. Just as a side note, on this side here we've got the menu for the car, and you can flick through these and you can see you've got all the different settings on the screen at the front there. And if I go to the assist systems and then I press on OK, I can see ACC deactivated. By pressing the on button here, ACC is now activated, and you know that by this little speedo symbol down on the bottom left. And you may notice that we've got some sort of distance control thing here, and that is set using this button here, and that tells the radar at the front of the car how far away you want to be behind the car in front of you. So if I press this a few times, you'll see how this moves. So if I keep pressing it, this will be further away from the car in front of you, and this will be closer to the car in front of you. I normally have it set about here on the third black line up. It seems to be a little bit more than 2 seconds away from the car in front. So let's pop out for a drive and see the ACC in action.
Where the ACC comes into play is on the motorway. I use it all the time. And what I'm going to do is going to show you how the buttons that I've explained earlier work in real time. So just to recap, we've got the on and off, resume, set, and we can go up in increments of 5 miles an hour using the rocker switch here, the minus and the plus, and we can go up in 1 mile an hour increments using the reset and the resume and the set. If you go through your computer here, you can look at the assist systems and you can see exactly where you are. ACC deactivated. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the ACC using the on button. That's the distance that I've set the car to be at when I'm behind another car. So if someone cuts in front of me, the Golf will slow up, or if it's a real tricky one, it would actually slam on the brakes. If I overtake, the Golf will speed up to the speed that I've set. So the ACC is on, and you've got the indicator down on the left hand side, button in the middle of this rocker switch here. And what that's for, if I press that a few times, you can see that. And I have explained this to you before, but seeing it in real life, in real use, you can see that you've got longer distances and shorter distances behind the car that's in front of you. So I usually have it, 3 steps up, which is a good 2 seconds plus behind the car in front, and it gives me enough leeway to decide if I'm going to pop my foot on the brake because the ACC isn't doing what I wanted it to do. So I'm in 6th gear at the moment. I've turned the ACC on. I'm doing 70 miles an hour roughly. Let's just up it a bit, and I'm going to press set. Okay, I've taken my foot off the gas and I'm showing 71 miles an hour there. Now I'm quite happily sitting behind this van in front, no problems at all. Now the van happens to be doing about 70 miles an hour, so if I go to overtake it, I'm not going to be going any faster. If the van in front brakes, then the Golf will slow itself down. Now if I want to slow down from 70 miles an hour, I can do that in 5 mile an hour increments, as I've mentioned before, using the rocker switch. So this 70, let me just click it down to 70 using this one here. 70 miles an hour exactly. Now I'm coming up behind this truck. Watch what happens. And we got the guy in the black Merc coming out in front, and we've slowed right down. I'm in 6th gear, right down to 50 miles an hour. Now trucks in the UK, I think they do 56 miles an hour max, so we're not going to get up to much more than that. Now he's pulling in over to the left, and watch the speedo here. I'm not touching anything, no gas. Taking me back up to 70 miles an hour, no problem. And the radar on the front that I showed you earlier is communicating with the car and doing all of that. So now the radar has taken me back behind this truck a good distance, which is set by this button here. Now I'd like to overtake this, and the car is speeding up already. It's taking me up to a decent speed behind this black Mini. Now as the black Mini moves over, this should pick up a bit. There we go. And I'll glide past these 2 cars. What I'll do in a minute is I'll turn the speed down a bit, and I'll just show you how that works. Okay, so I'm cruising along now at 70. I'm going to pull over behind this white car. Going to show you how the 5 mile an hour increments work. So using this minus button here on the rocker switch, it's showing 70 at the moment. If I just click that once, you see that drops to 65. Now I haven't been touching the gas at all during this little session. If I hold my finger on the resume or the set and hold it down, either way, the speed will decrease and it will just tumble in 1 mile an hour increments. So if I reduce the speed from 67 and just hold my finger on the set button, it just keeps dropping. There you go, down to 60. And then the 5 mile an hour increments are nice, back up to 65. My car is a manual, and using the clutch doesn't deactivate the ACC at all. So if I drop it into 5th, it'll stay at 65 miles an hour. The only thing that will deactivate the ACC is if the car wants to, if it sees something going on with the radar in front. If you press the on and off for the ACC, or if you just touch the brakes. So if you do brake and you think, this car's not slowing down as quickly as I like, and you touch the brakes, that'll disengage it and you'll have to turn it on again. Back into 6. So that's about it in a nutshell. If anyone pulls in front of you, it'll slow down. If you overtake, it'll speed up. And you just set it to exactly how you want it. And you can use the 5 mile an hour increments or the 1 mile an hour increments. And you can drive for hundreds of miles like this just using the 5 miles, the 1 mile. It's very, very precise, very, very accurate, and it feels safe. It's a little bit different to cruise control, where you're just setting yourself at 70 miles an hour and you're always turning that off, turning it back on, turning it off, turning it back on. And there you go, there's a perfect example behind this car, dropping down to 50, joining a new motorway here. The only thing Golf does do, as soon as you indicate, it kind of gets ready to go. It can be a bit unnerving, but once you get used to it, you know what it's going to do, it's fine. So I'm doing 50, I'm going to indicate, and there we go. It's a great way of doing long journeys. I use it a lot in towns. You hit a 30 mile an hour zone. On the motorways, if you're on a 50 mile an hour variable speed limit situation, it's great for that. A lot of people have ACC on the Golf. It's one of those nice little extras you got on some models included. There's not many cars you would have got that with. A lot of cars have cruise control, but not the adaptive side of it. As I say, a lot of people are driving around with ACC and they're not using it, and give it a go. It's really, really handy. It's one of my favourite features, and if you're doing a lot of miles, you just have to use it. You end up at your destination an awful lot fresher. If you've never used your ACC, maybe it's time to give it a go.